So here's the thing about this picture. I just like it. There's not a whole lot going on from like a super fancy macro photography angle. It's not a very complicated shot. It's not difficult to get this shot. I just like it. I took a picture kind of like this at the Oklahoma State University campus years ago, and it was my phone background for a while. And I just like this kind of picture where you have one leaf in focus or one blade of grass in focus, and everything else is just this blurry mess and everything is just beautifully backlit. Anyone can get this photo. All you need is a sunset and some color changes, whether it's leaves on a tree or leaves of a plant like this or blades of grass, and you just go out and you focus on something in the foreground and then let the background be all blurry. And that's what I did here. This is not a super fancy picture. I shot this with my macro lens, but you don't really need a macro lens to get this shot. I shot this at f4.8, and I took a couple versions of this that were a little wider, but I didn't like the result because I really wanted that leaf to be sharp. And if you zoom in on the full-size one on Flickr, you'll see that it's not as sharp as it could be. There's some parts that are a little fuzzy and blurry, but it's pretty sharp overall, and I like that. And it's really the only thing that's in that you can see clearly is this colored orange and red leaf. Everything else, the one spot of color that really stands out in this photo is also the one thing that is in focus. And that was totally intentional. This is right next to the shore of Milford Lake. This was the last night we were here in June at our annual family vacation in Kansas. And my brother Phil and I were just wandering around the lake shore while our kids and some of the other family were fishing like 50 feet away. I mean, we were taking part in the fishing activity, but we also really wanted to take some photos. So we wandered around on the lakeshore for maybe 10 minutes, just looking for any sort of photo opportunity that we could find. I found this and he found several. And then not too long after this, I found a tick crawling on my leg, and I was like, all right, Phil, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go and hang out with everyone else fishing. But there's something about this shot that it's just fun to get. And you can't see the lake in the background, but there is a lake there. It's totally obscured with the blur. And if you don't need a lake, though, you don't need anything fancy, I would encourage you to take your camera lens out. If you got just a standard prime lens, just open that aperture up as wide as it'll go. Stand back a little bit so you can get your one thing sharpened in focus, and then adjust the aperture a little bit, but go out in the morning or go out in the evening when you get the setting or the rising or setting sun so you can get that one thing in focus. Play around with how you compose it so that there's other things in the shot as well, whether foreground or background or a mix of both, and just see what you can get. It's a really cool type of picture to be able to take.